welcome to another episode of Harp at Home. This is our 6th workshop of Series 4 and we're back on the road again thanks to the task of funding, which means as well as learning a tune, we're going to have a wee bit of a kind of interview and a road trip section of this workshop. So we're going to have quite a wee while of that today because we're going really the furthest we have so far as part of our on the road section. Today we're going to be visiting the Hebrides and we're going to visit the Isle of Lewis. We're going to meet a very close friend of mine, a woman called Carole Miller. She's a fellow harpist and I can't really remember when I first met Carole. She's just kind of someone who's always been there really in the past kind of 10-15 years. She's a great festival goer of harp. She comes to the Edinburgh Harp Festival a lot and she's been very supportive to me in my career. In fact, if you've got my album Sparks, you'll see that there's a tune dedicated to her and her husband Colin. So we're going to head up to Lewis and we're going to meet her and we're going to really kind of see a little bit about what modern life is like in the Hebrides these days. And yeah, let's head up there now.
So this in front of us is Loch of Alla. That's a freshwater loch that the villagers would have used to store things, wash, drink, and keep clean. And this is Mad Bramble and Bria. Silly people, silly dogs. And this is our old girl Bonnie in front of us as well. She's 11. And down to the right I've got my polycrab, which is designed and made in Shetland and then put up here. It's guaranteed to last, stay intact up to force 12 gales, which wow. Believe me, you know, out there's nothing between us and Canada, so yeah, so we do get the gales. The northerlies are worse, but apart from that it's mostly quite sheltered, but the northerlies are terrible.
Hey!
You can see the village of Shawboss. There's all different parts. This is North Shawboss, that's over on the other side of the loch. We are South Shawboss, and that's New Shawboss over there, which isn't that particularly new. I don't understand why they call it New Shawboss, but that's there. So we have about 6 acres that we intend to put some sheep in, but we've had a 5-year development plan. Our croft hadn't had anything done to it for a long time, so we've been improving the ground and the drainage, as you can see, still needs a little bit of work. But we keep some hens, and we have some sky hens, the brunies. I have an old Somerville who's 7, she's a very old hen. Got 2 new leg birds and a very attractive cockerel called Norman. So this is Norman, he's a leg bar cockerel and he comes from Bigadale on Harris. Okay, so this is a polycrab, but it's a bit untidy just now because it's off season. But this is one lemon tree, and some of them are starting to go lemony coloured. But basically, they can be used. They're excellent. They're quite tart, so they're excellent in a gin and tonic. I've grown broad beans, salad crops. The tarragon needs watered, you can see. We've got an olive tree just for fun. There's some broccoli down here still on the go. So we have some broccoli heads that are just forming. And so they just take longer in the winter. You can still grow anything, rosemary, peas, and parsnips. I'm about to feed the hen Jessie. They're just there.
So we are in your garden studio. What do you call it? You had a wee name for this.
Well, it's got various names. You'll have seen the size of my husband's shed, which is bigger than the house. And so this is my she shed.
Your she shed. I like
She
it.
shed. But my friends call it the musebo because it's not a gazebo, it's a musebo. And other people call it the taikeli because they think that, or taikyol because the music house, because they think that I do nothing but music here. But I do sleep as well sometimes.
Yeah, it's a beautiful space, and you've got all your music books. I've been kind of, oh, there's so many tunes in all those books. I think I'm gonna have to arrange another trip up here, Carol, and just like spend like hours sitting on this sofa here with my harp, looking at new tunes to me, which is what I love about these old collections. But I mean, this scenery is gorgeous here. Like it must be really pretty inspiring to work in an area like this.
Yeah, it can be quite distracting, but at the same time, it's quite good because then you don't look at your harp strings while you're playing, so you get to know the tunes a wee bit better.
Yeah.
You're not looking at your hands all the time. Because the view is pretty inspiring. You see the waves breaking over the cliffs, and you see the sheep just wandering about, and yeah. It is inspiring. It has inspired a few tunes.
Yeah, and we had an amazing day yesterday actually. We went for a wee bit of a drive, so I think we'll maybe kind of go and we'll kind of show you some of the other scenery that I've been seeing on our trip here that is really, I guess that you can maybe kind of see why so many tunes and songs were written about the Isle of Lewis when you kind of see this scenery.
How it might have been, because they would have stayed by the freshwater lock for fresh water for washing and keeping clean, and so most villages have a freshwater lock and they use it. But nowadays we've got all these wonderful mixture of old cottages and eco houses and everybody lives quite together.
So at the end of there we kind of had a wee kind of journey to just a wee area just that way, and kind of looking over
Just
the hill
north.
just out,
Yeah.
just north,
Just north.
to see where Rory Dall Morrison was brought up on the Isle of Lewis. And that's just a little bit about the kind of, I guess, how this area is connected to the clarsach.
Yeah, because he was one of the most famous
Yeah.
Carson Harper to the clan MacLeòid. Oh, would it be that the clan still employed harpers and then we'd all be working and earning, never mind COVID.
Exactly, and this area is very much a kind of MacLeod area.
The Isle of Lewis was owned by the
Mhm.
Lord of the Isles at some point, and then it was bought by Jardine Matheson,
Mhm.
and then he sold it to Lord Leverhulme of the soap, and he did all sorts of things. There's a great biography called The Soap Man that tells you about all the things that he did and brought to Lewis. And he tried to improve the road structures and things, which helped a lot. But the environment has always been very important to everybody who lives here, because you can't go out if it's too windy, and you can't stay in if it's not windy, and so yeah, we're always all out walking about on the crofts, working the land, and that's what most people do.
Yeah,
Cutting peat for
and
the
that's
fire.
kind of real life now in Lewis. And community is still a really kind of big thing, and you've been kind of become very involved in the kind of community music and trying to, I guess over the last year and a half especially, when people have been having to stay at home, but trying to still kind of get a sense of community within the place with your music.
It's been quite hard to keep that sense of community when people have been told to stay at home and not mix and things. So playing with other people was quite difficult. I made a bubble. I was on my own. My husband's Merchant Navy and he wasn't here. So I made a bubble with another lady that was on her own that plays the fiddle. So the two of us got together regularly in her house or my house to play. And we just regularly tested to make sure that we weren't in any way at risk of infecting each other. And that's continued. But when the restrictions lifted a little bit, our local community development group started putting on Thursday sessions, led by myself and a lady called Elsa McTaggart, who plays violin, and you can look her up online and see what she does. And she has a master's from Limerick, and so the connection through her is Ailey, because she did her master's. Ailey Robertson did her master's at Limerick as well. And in fact, I have some Fiona Black pictures up on my wall as well, and she did her degree at Limerick. And anyway, so anybody's welcome, and we play a real mix of music. Actually, it's not just traditional music, and it's just as an outlet. And actually, it's a good thing to do to start building the sense of community again, because there was coffee and teas and cakes, and that's always important to musicians, never mind people who are listening. So there was always coffee and cakes, and you could chat to people about what you were doing and what you were playing, and so that's really good, because when you've got new stuff, it's really good to get it out there, isn't it, and play it, just so that people...
Exactly, and being able to take the chances when we are able to kind of meet together again to do it as well, because, and up here, as you say, the kind of weather, you know, if the weather's not great, you don't want to go out, but there's also problems, like it's not so simple to get online here at all times, isn't it? A lot of people don't have broadband still.
Well, the broadband is actually okay, and where we were yesterday in Bernera, it has hardwired broadband.
Fair play Bernera.
Fair play Bernera, and that's probably down to the fact that their landlord, who sadly has died now, he was also the inspiration for Ian Fleming's James Bond, Robin Meadows.
All these random connections.
I know. So I think it was his connections that meant they got hardwired. Either that, or it was just absolutely too difficult to do the satellite stuff, because satellites wobble in the wind, and it doesn't take much wind for satellites to wobble.
And it's regularly windy here, as you can see.
We laugh, you know, when the Met Office names a storm and says it's going to be 60 miles an hour, and we're like, oh, that's what we had last night. And we frequently have 80 miles an hour in the winter. And it's still quite windy in the summer as well. But it's a great place to live, because the darkness gives you an excuse to relax and play tunes and enjoy other people's company, and have a ceilidh. A proper ceilidh is when you meet with other people in houses and have a proper ceilidh and a bit of stewpag, a bit of cake, and coffee, and company, and share those dark evenings, and share your knowledge. I have a neighbour, an elderly neighbour, who is an amazing, fascinating guy who knows loads about all the bards that have written the songs. He professes not to be able to sing, but I've heard him when he's been imbibing a little at New Year, and he can sing, but he's got notebooks and notebooks about, and it was him that told me all about Rory Dall Morrison and where he was and where he's buried, and so it's, I wouldn't have known that had I not taken the time on a winter's night to sit in his kitchen with a cup of tea and ask about what
these
was
are
going.
always kind of very special moments that you'll always
Yes,
treasure.
absolutely.
Carole, I mean, we've been out kind of walking and things like that, but you're not just here relaxing now in your kind of time in the Isle of Lewis. You do work as a kind of harp player and kind of as a music teacher, etc. And you've been using the wearing cardboard harps.
Well, and here's another connection between thee and me.
Yes.
Rachel very kindly brought this back from Somerset,
yeah.
But it wasn't constructed. We had to construct it. So this is a cardboard harp. You can see the back of it. But the framework is in cardboard, and it's nylon strings, and they actually make an okay sound, don't they? They make an okay sound. So we've got a project down in Uig, where we were yesterday, and the project is called Najarak Veka, which is little acorns. So all know the saying, little acorns great oak trees grow. And it started because people were concerned in the area about the tradition and the songs not being passed down, because we're too busy teaching kids in schools about new things that
that we forget to teach them about where they've come from and what the old songs are and the tunes. And there wasn't also, now that they've taken a lot of visiting music specialists out of schools, there wasn't the same, Uig is quite a distance from town, and so there wasn't the same instructors, music instructors.
So how far in, so Uig is in the south of the Isle of
Southwest
Lewis?
of the Isle of Lewis.
Yes. How far would that take to get to from Stornoway? Stornoway is the main port where you would get the ferry from Ullapool, which we've talked about before in Harp at Home, if you remember my tune The Last Captain. So how far away are we from Stornoway?
Well, mileage doesn't actually make a difference.
Yes, of course.
As you've realised, it's only about 50 miles, but as you realise, yesterday most of it is single track road. So it takes me about, from Stornoway itself, it would take me an hour. I would allow an hour.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's longer. It depends who knows how to use the single track roads and whether you get held up behind a lorry or something going over to Uig, because it's a very busy community.
Yeah.
And quite a few busy harbours and a lot of self caterings over there. So the summers is quite busy. But they have a smokehouse. They have the best smoked fish ever over there. And they used to have a scallop shack. So I don't know where to get my scallops now, apart from the fish shop. But they were fresh and you could get them in the shell and do all the preparation yourself. But yeah, so the project was set up just to encourage young children, and of course these are ideal then for 6, 7, 8-year-olds. So although they don't have the same concentration span that older kids have, they're quite little and they can sit on the floor with them and they're quite light for them.
Yeah.
So they have ones that are very similar, and they have Najara Kveka and nice decals.
And what does that mean?
The little acorns.
Fantastic, yes, you were saying.
And mostly we've just been doing the tune and very simple left hands. Because the project has actually been online for the last 18 months, because before that we were face to face, and that was much easier, but everything's been online. And so there's harp, and we've got ukulele, we do Gaelic singing with them, we do games and things when we're together for a day. We have these Fèis days, so we meet up and we play games and musical games, but actually rough and tumble as well. But all the instructions are in Gaelic, so it's just encouraging use of the language in the community.
And using these wonderful little cardboard harps. I'm sure some of you might have seen these before. I've got one that's the same colour actually, but I've got sparkles on mine. I made mine in all the colours that I would never be allowed to have a starfish harp in. So all the complete opposite, bright purple and glitter and...
I couldn't find glittery paint. This is Lewis after all, so I couldn't find glittery paint, but I managed to get some decals off of eBay. And
it looks fantastic. Can you give us a wee bit of a tune in that? Good. I recognise that tune, but would you like to tell folk about it?
It's Tala Criasta, and I can't take credit for that arrangement. It was the wonderful Bill Taylor who did actually teach both of us.
Yes, yeah.
So there's another connection. Yeah, so we're all connected.
Yes. Thank you. So, Carole, thank you so much for inviting me up and letting me come and stay with you for the night here in Lewis. I've just had, it's just been lovely to escape the city, and I just can't stop staring out the window at the waves and the sea here. I really feel at home by the sea here. It's a really special place here. So I think you're going to play us out by playing a local tune, or a local kind of a few miles down the road tune.
It's a tune called Òran MhicLeòid Scara. Scara is an area, means the area, so it's Callum's song from the area he comes from, and the area he comes from is Bernera. It was written by Malcolm Macaulay. There's a very sad backstory where he was going to meet his love of his life, who was promised to somebody else, but they were going to meet and go to the New World, and sadly they missed each other, and he thought she hadn't turned up and vice versa, and he went off to the New World and never returned again. So Òran MhicLeòid Scara is all about the song itself with the words is all about wanting to return and wishing that he'd returned and missing his, you know, that ceannalas that only Gaels, well, not only Gaels have, but the only ones with a word for it. So that longing to be home, even though you're perfectly happy, you've got this longing to be home, and he had that, and he never returned, and she died about a year after that.
Well,
So,
sad story, but a beautiful
a
melody.
beautiful tune and beautiful sentiment about,
yeah.
you know, the place that I lived and was born and brought up in is just absolutely.
And we took a wee bit of a road trip down to the island.
To Bosta,
Bosta,
it's talked about in the song.
So we'll intersperse a little bit of that as you listen to Carole playing this. Wonderful to see Carole there. Wonderful to have a trip to the Isle of Lewis. I hope you enjoyed your trip with us there, where we showed you a little bit about Hebridean life nowadays. And wonderful as well to have that wee bit of clarsach connection there, visiting where we think Rory Dall Morrison was born. He was the Scottish Rory Dall. You had Rory Dall Cathan from Ireland, who wrote lots of tunes and was one of the bards over there. And well, yeah, in Scotland we have Rory Dall Morrison, who was born on the Isle of Lewis and served really as a musician to the Clan MacLeòid, who were more kind of based at that time in the Dunvegan area of the Isle of Lewis. And it's actually a Rory Dall Morrison tune that we're going to learn today. It's called Òran Mòr MhicLeòid, the great song of MacLeod. And this is a poem, a song and a melody that he wrote, and it's a really beautiful one. And I was kind of reminded about it actually by Carole. She had a source book. As I said in the film, it's like I get so lost in these source books. And we were just kind of talking about Rory Dall Morrison and about how it would be really lovely if for this workshop I taught you one of his tunes. So it's kind of looking through that and I was like, oh yes, that's particularly good because it's about the MacLeods, and well, it was the MacLeods that were particularly kind of prevalent in the Isle of Lewis. They owned the Isle of Lewis, as Carole said. So I hope you enjoy learning this one. It's a very kind of nice, kind of chilled, kind of still tune. And yeah, I'm going to play it through to you first, just now. gentle one for us today. I hope you'll enjoy learning this one. I think it's nice to do a tune that was written by one of the kind of Scottish harp players, because so much of our tradition is lost, and that's one of the tunes that still exists. So let's head over to the green screen and we'll learn it together. Òran Mòr MhicLeòid, it's beautiful Gaelic air and Gaelic song. You need your harps in F major for this tune. It's got a B flat in it. We've not really done a lot of tunes at Harp at Home with flat keys. So B flat's engaged, that means therefore my harp is tuned to E flat major. I have my E and my A levers on. My B flats there are kind of already kind of sitting there with no levers on them. If your harp's tuned to C major, you're going to need to tune that B down to being a B flat. Okay, watch out in your tuner, it might read as B flat, it might also read as A sharp, so be careful about that. So this tune is in 6/8. Okay, we're going to be counting it a lot of the time as 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, instead of as opposed to going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're going to be counting it in 2 lots of 3s, and that's quavers for that. As usual, we will learn the melody, then we'll look at the left hand. There's 2 arrangements. We're going to mainly concentrate on the first time round, but I will take you through the second time as well if we've got time. So have a listen to your melody. Okay, so really there's not so much phrases in this tune because it's a song. We're going to be approaching it kind of like almost, we're going to call it line by line, and we're going to kind of go for the fact that there's 4 lines in this. We're going to divide it into 4 sections. Our first part of our first section, okay, you with me, goes like this. Okay, so this is our kind of first phrase of the first section. I want you to pop your thumb on the A above middle C. And we're going to start off by playing 2 Fs. So our thumb is anchoring on there, keeping our hand nice and steady. We're going to use our 3rd finger and a 2nd finger to play 2 Fs and then A. Okay, so for this I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, F and A. Okay, in fact I'm just going to count 1, 2 as opposed to 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So that's your 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, yeah. So I'm confusing myself. Right, okay, I'm just going to count your 2 quavers. And then that's been 3 and 1, 2. Okay, after 2, 1, 2. Nice. 2 Fs and an A. Let's go for it again, folks. 1, 2. Lovely. We're now going to have a new position. 3, 2, 1 on G, A, and C. And we're just going to play up that. Okay, let's play that after 2. 1, 2. Can you add it on? I'm going to count to 2, so we've got 2 Fs and an A, and then we're going to play up G, A, C, and that's our kind of first phrase of that first line. After 2. 1, 2. Nice. One more time. After 2. 1, 2. Lovely. Anchor your thumb back on the A for the next bit. We're going to have 2 Fs again. After you play the 2 Fs, I want you to follow on by playing putting your 2nd and G and your 3rd and F, and we're going to flow down those 3 notes, down A, G, F. So you've got 2 Fs, then down A, G, F. Okay, let's have a go of that after 2. 1, 2. Put your fingers back on them, because our next little bit, thumb back on the A, 2nd on the G, we're going to play our A and G, then we're going to add in 2 grace notes, A, G, F. The F is the main note. So A, 2, 3, G. A, 2, grace notes coming down to the F. Let's practice that a little bit together. 1, I am after 3 actually. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, run down to your F. Nice, so that new phrase, that kind of second phrase of our first part, 2 Fs, down 3 from A, G, F, now A, G and down. Let's give it a go after 2. 1, 2. One more time after 2. 2 Fs, 3, 2, remember changing those fingers. 1, 2. Lovely work. Okay, that's our first line, folks. Your first bit. Remember, you've got that new position, G, A, C. Okay, let's have a go. Our first line is done. After 2. 1, 2. 2 S again. Down from A, G, brushing down to the F. Nice. One more time after 2. 1, 2. Lovely. Have a listen to our next phrase. We're now moving up to a position that's going to start with 2 C's. We've got lots of kind of double notes in this tune actually. Now we're going to start with 2 C's. Have a listen. So we are playing off C, D and F. Remember I said to you, or I think I said to you, there's no E's in this tune, okay? No E's at all in this tune. We're missing out the E. So always kind of look for these little kind of bits of things that you can kind of grab on to help you remember melodies. Thumb on D is an anchor. We're going to play 2 C's and then the D. Lovely. Let's go for it after 2. 2 C's and a D. 3, 2, 1. 1, 2. Lovely. C, D, F. We're going to flow up. Okay, so that was going up. C, D, F. Let's go for that. That's our little first phrase there. After 2. 1, 2. Excellent. Put your thumb back on the F. We're going to stick to these 3 notes and we're going to stick to using these fingers on these 3 notes. So thumb on F, second on D, third is going to be on C. We're going to play an F and 2 Ds. Okay, and I'm not really swapping my fingers there. Just kind of worked out it's easier just to stick with the 2 there because of what's going to come next. So we've got F and 2 Ds. Place on C, D, F. We're going to flow up and flow down. Let's give that a go. So F and 2 Ds. 1, 2. C, D, F. Now flowing up. Lean on that F at the top and then go down. Let's go for it again. 1, 2. Let's add our bit on before, which remember was 2 C's and a D, and then flowing up it. Okay, you ready? 1, 2. F, D, D. Good, so 2 C's and a D, flowing up the notes, F, D, D, up the notes and straight back down. That's our second line. Let's go for it. 1, 2. F and 2 Ds, up and down the notes. Good, let's go for it again. 1, 2. Excellent. So we've got 2 lines of the tune now. Let's see if we can do our first and second line together, okay? We're going to kind of keep going back and kind of playing around what we have so far before we move to the next bit today. Hug your thumb on F and 2 Fs on an A. Okay, give it a go. After 2. 1, 2. 2 Fs and down from A. A, G. And round down from the A to F. 2, 3, 1, 2. New bit. F and 2 Ds. Nice. Have a listen to our third line. That's what we're going to work on now. This should be familiar. Okay, so our third line starts off with the same first phrase as the second line. Okay, this is a kind of one little bit of kind of melodic repetition that we have in this tune. So we're back up to the 2 C's and the D, and then running up C, D, F. Let's give that a go together. After 2. 1, 2. Nice. Now we're going to go down to the A. I want you to anchor your thumb on the C again. We're going to have a double note, so we're using 3 and 2, so anchoring our thumb on that C. 2 A's, 3, 2 again. We're always using that 3, 2 pattern just now with these double notes. Now we're going to go down C, A, G. Let's give that a go. So 2 A's and down C, A, G. You ready? 1, 2. Good, put your thumb on that A that we've been playing. Down 3 in a row, very nice and steady. Different rhythm here. A, G, F. 1, 2, 3. And a D with your thumb at the top. So 1, 2, 3. High D. Let's go down that C, or 2 A's. Let's give it a go. You ready? 1, 2. Lovely. One more time. 1, 2. Nice. Let's add on the phrase before, which we know already. Remember, we've borrowed it from the second part. So their third line. Let's give it a go. 2 C's. Da, 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 da. After 2. 1. Sorry, I'll get a wee bit faster than that. 1, 2. Down 3 from A and D. Nice. One more time. After 2. 1, 2. Nice work. Okay, let's go from the start, see if we can do all of what we know, and then I will play you the final phrase, and then we'll be done with all of the melody. 2 F's and down, or 2 F's and an A, G, D, me, G, A, C. Are you ready? After 2. 1, 2. 2 F's and down from A. Two C's and a D. F, D, D. Up, C, D, F, and back down again. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Starts the same way. This is our third bit that we've just done. Down 3 from A, and then the D. 2, 3. Have a listen to the next bit. Line. And again, we're going to split it into 2 sections. Now, we have 2 Ds here. I'm going to give you options for the fingering for this. You can either do it all with thumbs, but then you're going to have to hop your thumb down to the F. Some folk like to slide. I'm not a fan of sliding. I think what I prefer to do, although it is a little bit tricky as well, is to do 2 Ds, one with my thumb, one with the second, then put my thumb on the C. So 1, 2, thumb onto the C, because you need your third out to go up 3 from F. So that's where the kind of issue is there. So 2 Ds, C, and then up 3 from F. Let's give it a go together after 2. 1, 2. Up from F. Good. Let's go around that a few times. We'll try it another twice. I'll count in between though. 1, 2. Up from F. Nice. One more time. 1, 2. Lovely. Have a listen to our next bit. We've got 2 A's and a C, and then we're going to come down 5 notes. Okay, so third on A, thumb on C. We're going to have 2 A's, so we've got thumb is anchored on that C again, yeah, folks, get what I mean? 3, 2, and then the C. Okay, so you're avoiding that B. In fact, I'm scanning through, my goodness, why did I not notice this before? There are also no B's in this tune, which means it's pentatonic. I'm just double checking that there definitely is. I seem to think there was a B. But yeah, so even though we've got our B flats, technically, my goodness, I'm just realising for those of you who are tuned your harps to C major, you can get away with not having that B tuned down. Although you might need it if in the left hand. You will need it in the left hand actually. So you can get away with not tuning that B though. But it's always kind of good in case you accidentally play it or there's that kind of, you know, ringing thing that harp strings do as well. So anyway, distracted there by suddenly realising this tune is actually in the pentatonic scale. 2 A's and the C. Thumb and C. You can tell I'm distracted this month, eh? If you're watching the blether, you'll know exactly why I'm kind of a little bit distracted. To catch up on the blether, there's a lot going on just now, folks. Anyway, thumb and the C. Third and the A. We've got 2 A's. Again, using 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's give those 3 notes a go together. 1, 2. Excellent. We're going to go down 5 notes and we're going to avoid that B that we've suddenly realised we're not using. 1, 2 on D and C, crossing over and going down 3 from A. So it's going. Okay, let's add that on with the 2 A's and the C's. That's the best way to kind of work out the timing and the rhythm of that. After 2, 1, 2. One more time. 1, 2. Nice. Let's add the bit on before with the kind of tricky fingering. Dun, dun, dun. And that will complete our last line, which means we've done all of the melody. After 2, 1, 2. 2 A's and a C. One more time after 2. 1, 2. Two A's and a C. Nice. Okay, let's go for all the melody then, guys. That's really pretty good. Are you ready? Thumb anchored on the A. 3, 2, 1. Lots of these double notes, remember. After 2, 1, 2. One, two, 2 C's and a D. Your C, D, F. 1, 2 starts the same way. Straight down from A to F and the high D. 2, 3, 1, 2. Stay in those D's. Good work. Okay, so let's have a look at some left hand for this first time round the tune. I'm going to play you what we've got. It's a little bit more still, I guess, in the second time round where we start to flow. Have a listen. And so on into the next bit. Okay, so our first part, we're going to kind of start off with doing F chords, variations on an F chord. And we're actually going to fill in some extra notes with our right hand as well. So that A is the first beat of the bar here, because we're going 1, 2, 3, and 1. Okay, we're going to fill in with an F7. The reason we're doing an F7 is because it sounds quite nice and a little bit kind of like edgy, but also because our third finger has been on that F already. So we're dropping our thumb to that E. Kind of makes nice kind of sense there. Fourth on F, second on middle C, thumb on E. Okay. And with our right hand, as we play the F, I want you to play the F and G. We're going to brush up that C. So instead of just playing the A, we're actually playing a nice cluster chord of 3 notes. See if you can get that in. And we're going to brush up F, C, E, F, G, A. Let's give it a go after 2. 1, 2. Nice, keep on going. Lovely. One more time. 1, 2. Excellent. Move your left hand down to a 158 now in F158, F, C, F. Same idea. And again, we're going to fill in the rest of those 3 notes there with our right hand, F, G, A. Let's give a go of that little second phrase of that first line. 1, 2. Nice work. So we've got an F7 and then down to an F chord, and both times we're filling in with that F, G, A there. Let's put those 2 bits together. 1, 2. Lovely. And when we're going down these notes, we're going to add in another F7, which is going to land with that F there. Another F7 with the F. Nice. Let's see if we can go for that first line. 1, 2. F158. And F7 again. Cool. One more time. 1, 2. Lovely. We're now going to have 4 chords in our left hand. Have a listen. These are all going to go on the beat. And we're going to finish it off with a C158 extended. So let's work on what these chords are first. We're going to have a B fifth. In fact, I'm going to show you my right hand so you can see clearly. B and F, right in the middle of the harp. Middle C's in the middle there. B and F. Keep your thumb on the F. Move your bottom finger down to the A. So it'll be A and F. So an A6 technically. So you got your B and F, A and F. Back to your B fifth again. B and F. Move up 2 notes to a D fifth. So it's a D and the A. Okay, so you got B and F, A and C, B and F, D fifth. Let's just play those. We're going to play them on the beat. So I'm going to count 3 and it's going to be on the beats 1 that we play as. 1, 2, 3. B, 2, 3, A and F. 2, 3, B fifth. 1, D fifth. 3, 1, 2, 3. Let's see if we can get those going together. It's going to go on the beat. So for the first 2 ones, it's going to go with the thumbs. So So the B5 with the D. You ready? 1, 2. Lovely. Our A and our F is going to go with the F, and actually if you want to, you can copy that with shape with your right hand. I've got that written in the music, it's quite nice. So you end up playing A and F. I think I like to use my second thumb there for some reason on my left hand, and 3 and 1 right hand. You might be more comfortable with 3 and 1, I don't know. A and F in both hands here. Let's give it a go of that little phrase. 1, 2. Lovely. With our second D, this is where our B comes in. Okay, after 2, 1, 2. Nice, one more time. So that's your B and F, your B5 with the second D. 1, 2. Good. When you hit your high F, the D5, the D and A. Okay, let's put those two bits together, B5 and the D5. This is the second phrase there, so the second part of that left hand. After 2. 1, 2. D5 with a high F. Good, and then you come down, and I want you to play a C158 extended, so that'll be C, G, C, crossing under with 2 and 1 to the D and E. So that's what I call an extended chord, with that C. Okay, so dum, da, 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 C, G, C, cross under to D and E. Okay, let's see if we can go for all of that line. B and F, B and F, B and F, D5, C extended. After 2. 1, 2. C extended. Nice. Let's see if we can go from the start then, so far. So you've got your F chords for your first line, then on to those 5ths and 6ths and stuff. After 2. 1, 2. Lovely, have a listen to the next bit. It's going to start off with the same because we had that before, remember? Then we're going to start going down and finishing off with a B extended. So the first part of the third phrase or third line, remember, is the same as the second part. So again, we're giving the B5 and the A and the F. Let's give that wee bit a go. I'm going to count the quaver 1, 2s. 1, 2. Lovely. Remember our melody now is coming 2 A's down C, A, G, F. We've just done B and F, A and F. We're going to move our left hand down 1 note to the G and the E. So it's a G and 6th, a G6, G and E. And then we're just going to play a single F. So what's happening there is we're kind of working down a nice descending pattern there with our left hand, which we've done already. The G and the E, which is this new bit, and the F. And then we're going to have a B extended, so B, F, B, crossing under and adding the C and the F. Let's just try those 3 new chords. So the G and the E after 3. 1, 2, 3, G and E, 2, 3, F, 2, 3. Extend that B chord. Nice. So these left hand notes are going to come when your thumb plays. Okay? So G and E, when you're coming down from the C, G, after 3, 1, 2, or after 2, sorry, 1, 2. F with the thumb here going down A, G, F. And when our thumb plays that high D, we've got our extended. Okay, let's give that a go, that new section. Dun, 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 dun. So from the G and the E. 1, 2. Try all of that third line then. Remember, it starts off the same way as the second line. After 2. 1, 2. E extended. Nice work. Let's go from the start. We're going to kind of keep playing from the start to get this one. F7 after 2. 1, 2. 2. E fifth, D fifth. Remember the C extended to the C here? Next bit starts the same. G and E. F note with the A. E extended. Nice. Have a listen to next bit. It's simpler with octaves actually. Then we start to kind of get into the next arrangement. Okay, so left hand is going to be nice and simple. We're going to have a D octave and a C octave. You will have to consider it damp. Remember I talk about this a lot, so patting your string and then playing the C. I want you to add a little bit more right hand in with this though to kind of make it a little bit flowery. With that C, see if you can grab on an F triad, F-A-C. And we're going to brush up. That ends up making a D7 chord. It's quite a kind of tasty chord there. Let's have a go with that. 1, 2. Good. With your C here, we're going to have a C octave. Okay, let's have a go. Add in that C octave now. After 2. D octave with the F triad on top first. 1, 2. Good. C octave with a C. Come tumbling down. With this F, I want you to play an F extended. But we're actually going to fall back onto the G. I'm going to worry about that in a second. Just do an F extended for just now, then we'll kind of match it up. Let's go for that line again. D octave, C octave, then F extended. 1, 2. Okay, good work. Happy days. Let's go for the full tune. This is for the first time round, folks. F chords at the starts, then you've got your 6th and 5th there. Similar idea with the descending pattern. And then you've got the octaves there, finishing off with an F chord. After 2, let's go for it. 1, 2. Section, and I'm going to play you the second arrangement, and I'll take you through this quickly. Okay, so some of this is similar. Some of it is different, some of it is a variation. So I guess this is all kind of stuff that you can think about if you're kind of looking to expand on your arrangement that you've maybe got of a tune. So we finished off that part there with an F extended. I want you to go back and play the G again. So we're going to F C F, cross under for that extended, G A C, but play the G again. And that's going to be our little pattern. 1, 2, 3, and we're going to do the same in the C. 1, 2, 3, F. And then the C, we're just going to go straight up, we're not going to fall back. So F chord, C chord, F chord, C. Let's just have a go with that, and that will be our kind of break section. It starts in the last note of the melody. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, C. Falling back onto the D with that C chord. Falling back onto the G, but we're just going to play straight up. We're not going to fall back up here. Nice. So we're going to use that idea for our first line. Now this is the kind of trickiest bit, to be honest, of this new arrangement. We are going to actually change the rhythm a little bit to make it fit in. We were going 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, 3. We're now going to change it to 1, 1, 2, 3. Okay, it will work out when you're playing it. Have a listen to our first bit when before we had the F7. Okay, so place on that F chord, F C F. You've got your F and A. We're going to work it 2 F's by itself, together, together. Okay, so the first, the F, C, F part, the 1, 5, 8 of that chord, comes note to note with your right hand there. Let's see if we can get that going. Have a go. But the left hand starts with the A, remember. 1, 2. Good. Hopefully you've kind of got your left hand's about to go in the G, A, G, and your thumb is ready in the C. We're going to have the G by itself. Your thumbs are going to go together, so that's the A and the C. And then that G by itself. Okay, so the G is coming by itself, and then the thumbs together. Okay, let's have a go really slowly at that, folks. After 2. 1, 2. Together, G by itself. Even slower. 1, 2. G by itself, thumbs together, G by itself. Nice. Same principle with this. Now we're on to the C chord. Move your C chord. Dun, dun. Okay, 2 F's by itself. Then we're going together, together, together. This time your D comes by itself. Your thumbs together, D by itself. Okay, and then we've got upper F chord without falling back. Okay, that was quite a lot of stuff there. Let's go for a C chord. 2 F's by itself. I'm going to count really slowly. 1, 2. 2 F's. Together, together, D by itself. Thumbs together, D by itself. Melodies on the G, brushing down to the F, and with that F chord, you've got the F with the F chord. Yeah, that's your tricky bit of this second arrangement. I want you to take that in isolation and work on it, okay? Let's see if we can slowly play that first line together. After 2. 1, 2. Listen to our next bit. We're actually going to use exactly the same left hand, the same notes as we did last time, but we're going to separate these chords. So as before, we have B fifth, A and F, B fifth and the D and F. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. But they're going to happen in the same place. It will sound like this. Finishing off with the same C extended. Okay, let's go straight for it. Remember, you can pause and practice this. Okay, pause, rewind, as I always kind of go off. Pause, rewind, and rewatch. That's what I always say, isn't it? Let's give this phrase a go. So we're kind of splitting them, and they're still going to go with the whole of the thumbs. You can can double up there as well. So we've not got any crossing over notes, if you know what I mean. After 2, let's give it a go. 1, 2. It's C extended. Nice. Let's give that a go again. 1, 2. Nice. Same idea here. We're going to split the notes. Okay. We've still got the single F, so we're going to have E and F, A and F, G and E, F, and the same B extended. See if you can do it. We'll go for it. Third line. 1, 2. Nice. One more time. 1, 2. Excellent. And for our next bit, I've kept it the same. D octave, C octave, kind of like that still bit. And then our same chords, but for the outro, F falling back, C. F, sorry about the buzzes, they're dating me. But finishing off with a nice gentle F octave. Cool. So that's what our second time round the arrangement is. Let's see if we can go from the break section and see if we can have a go of that. Okay, remember, pause, rewind, re-watch if you need to. So we've got F chord, C chord, F chord, C chord, and then we're in with the more kind of tricky first line, which is setting us off for this. After 3. 1, 2, 3. Cool. Lovely work, folks. I hope you managed to get that. It's a beautiful tune, and a huge thanks to Carole for kind of like letting me have a look at that book up at our house in Lewis and sourcing this tune. I was in danger of kind of losing myself for a while in that book, I have to say, but I had to remember that I was there to film for Harp at Home, so but I'm glad that we managed to get this tune out of it. So yeah, let's head back to the fireplace and you can listen to the full arrangement and join in if you wish. another fine tune to add to your repertoire there, and a really good Scottish clarsach tune, as I said. It's kind of, it's not new to me, like it's one of the ones that I've always kind of been aware of and was reminded about by Carole. But yeah, I think I'm going to enjoy exploring it more myself. So welcome, by the way, to the blether section where I've got my cup of tea. Hope you've got a cup of tea. If you want to pause and go and get a cup of tea, do join me. This is when I kind of blether on to you about what's been going on, and my goodness me! Oh, I've had such a busy week since I last saw you all. It's been Celtic Connections Festival here, and it's been Celtic Connections Festival in person, and I've had my first in-person inside gig last night. Yeah, it was last night. I'm trying to think what day of the week it is. It's Sunday. Myself and Ron played at the Strathclyde Suite at the Glasgow Royal Concert Hall, a big venue, and oh, it went so well. We had a 45-minute set, and it was just really good to play music that we were comfortable to a really warm and welcoming audience. They were all masked, so we couldn't see their smiles, but we could see they were joking. I was saying we could see that you're smizing, as they say, smiling with your eyes. So it was lovely, and you know, just the whole day, our get-in was at 5 o'clock, and kind of wandered into the venue, and Iona Fife, who was also playing, was sound checking at the time, and the sound guy was there. And it was this sound guy called Dinner, who we know really well. Dinner is from up north, from the Inverness area. He's such a Highland boy, and it was just really nice to see him. He's a great sound man. He does sound for Duncan Chisholm, and he's done sound for Julie Fowlis and things. And I think it was just really lovely seeing somebody who is a kind of colleague, someone who you don't spend time with really during the year, but you bump into at work things or at festivals. And I think I've come to realise that that's one of the things I've missed the most over the past 2 years, because it's been, I've kept in touch with friends, kept in touch with family, but it's the kind of colleagues, the people that you meet at work things or gigs or at random stuff, folk who are in your kind of close by usual kind of weekly network. But folk like Dinner, which is really nice to see him. And he did excellent sound. Him and Chris, the monitor engineer, were spot on. We also actually got a bit of the concert filmed. Iona had paid to get some guys in to film her concert, and again, they were folk we knew. They were like, oh Rachel, we're just going to switch on the cameras for a couple of your sets. I hope that's okay. We just might as well, because they're there. Be silly not to. And I was like, sweet. So you might get a chance to see some of the concert. I'm not sure which tracks they filmed. We will maybe see and listen back and check we're happy with them. We seemed happy with them at the time. So, but yeah, it was just a warm experience. The whole thing just felt really good. And it's given us a bit of a taste for it, because we're going to be out on tour in America. The visa is not confirmed. Had a bit of a hiccup last week where there was a wee bit was kind of flagged on it. Turns out it was nothing to do with us. It was an admin thing. It gave us a bit of a fright. Several nights of no sleep because of that. I was just panicking. But that looks as if it's going to be okay now. I just still want it to come through so that I can go to Belfast and get it, preferably before the wedding. That'd be really useful if that could be before the wedding. But we are kicking off on the 11th of March. Now the dates are in the PDF and the dates are in the YouTube comments. Please do come if you're in that area. I've given you the times. I've not put the full details in. That's going to be this week's job, just confirming everything, I think. But yeah, super excited for that. I'm super excited to get to play with Ron. Ron's so much fun, man. I'm so pleased I play with him. He's actually away, believe it or not, to Dubai today. So he wasn't really out at a lot of stuff at Celtic, because he was just trying to make sure he stayed healthy, because he had to get a PCR test. So yeah, he is probably still currently on the plane. Actually, no, I don't know. I think he might have landed by now. I think his flight was at 1:30, and it's like a 5, 6, 7 hour flight to Dubai. I'm not sure, I can't quite remember. But he's going to perform with the Scott Wood Band at the Dubai Expo at a big UK day. Apparently Prince William and Prince Harry are going to be there, or maybe it's Prince Edward, probably. But yeah, they're there for a few days, although Ron's gone out early with his girlfriend for a few days holiday, which is good because Ron's playing with the Scott Wood Band, and I'm in the studio with Scott Wood tomorrow finishing off the album, finishing off mine and Ruth Kegan's album. So we've got a couple of guests in the studio. Scott recorded mine and Ron's album, so we've got some guests that we're recording here in Glasgow, so that's tomorrow's job in the afternoon, because Scott's got to go and get his PCR test in the morning, so we can't actually start when we're just gonna go a bit later during the day, so that'll be really nice to see Scott. Yeah, so that's what's happening this week, recording that. And then I head back out to the Netherlands. If any of you are in the Netherlands and you fancy a harp lesson at the end of the week, let me know. I have availability on Friday afternoon and a couple of spots on Saturday still free as well. Love to see if you fancy a harp lesson in person. Go for Harp at Home stuff. We can do something new. Let me know. So yeah, that's the plan at the end of the week. And then I don't know, then oh my goodness, then like it's 2 weeks on Friday, the wedding. So we had our last meeting with the wedding coordinator, although it's actually a different wedding coordinator than to who we did everything else, so it's a bit frustrating. Kind of felt that we just had to repeat everything we told them before, but it's okay. They seem to be on top of it. So we were just confirming various arrangements, and yeah, nearly everyone is RSVP'd. We have to do the table plan, which is, I am not really looking forward to. It's gonna be a headache because you have to fit everyone into tables, and it's like, yeah, that's gonna be a challenge. It's gonna be a bit of a Tetris attempt, I think. But yeah, and then flowers are all sorted. I'm gonna show you some stuff from it actually. As I said, none of you guys are coming to the wedding. You're not going to tell my family or anything. So I'm going to show you the colour scheme. This is totally girly, this. I'm sorry, so sorry guys. So my dress, now this is top secret. Adam doesn't even know this. I figured he's not going to watch this. Is actually not in ivory and it's not in white. It's actually in this colour, which is blush. Now this just happens to be a face mask that I have that's in exactly the same colour because I took this to the fitting and it's the same colour as this. So it's quite a grand dress. I will put up a photo on the Harp at Home Facebook page. Make sure you like it. Once I'm married, show you that I'm married and that it happened. So it's going to be in this. My bridesmaids are in this colour. I'm going to show you against that. You can see. So that's kind of a wine colour, red wine colour. I have my sister-in-law as bridesmaid, and my maid of honour is Joy Dunlop, who has been on Harp at Home, the Gaelic singer. And so they're both in that colour. My little niece is in a kind of pinky colour. She's a flower girl. And then these, so this is a bit of Adam's kind of kilt socks. This is the Manx Tartan, which Adam and his best man and one of his ushers, one of his groomsmen, are going to wear. So it's the Manx Tartan, it's blue. I think the colours are meant to represent the blue is the sky, the kind of deep red is the heather, you've got a kind of dark green for the mountains, and then you've got the kind of yellow for the broom, I think, or the gorse on the Manx hills. So yeah, that's the colours for the wedding. And kind of been sorting out flowers and stuff to go with all that. Got a great florist who's on it. Oh, in fact, oh my goodness, I have to text her. Remind me to text the florist after this. Once I stop filming, I need to let her know she can go to our venue to measure it up tomorrow. So yeah, this week, as well as going to the Netherlands and finishing off the album, I need to make some tablet, some Scottish tablet. I think I've spoken about tablet with you guys before. It's a kind of Scottish fudge, crystallised Scottish fudge. It's very kind of quite hard, but it melts in the mouth. So I'm making that for favours. So I have over 200 pieces already made, but I need another lot because I've not quite got enough. I kind of want to give people 3 pieces each, maybe 4. So we need to do that, and then we need to do our orders of service. Something that's quite special actually is that my dad is taking the wedding. So my dad is actually a retired minister here in Scotland. So he's going to marry us. He's still going to walk me down the aisle, but he's literally going to walk me down the aisle and then turn round. There is a bit where apparently, in his words, he has to kind of say who gives this bride or whatever, the quite traditional thing. I don't quite know what's going to happen there. We're being quite traditional with our vows and stuff. But he says, don't worry, I'll sort it out. So I don't know what he's got planned. But that's a little bit different. So it'll be really special to have my dad do that. It's kind of something I thought would always happen, so it's nice. But yeah, can hardly believe it's 2 weeks on Saturday, on Friday. Oh my goodness, like, I think especially after considering I've been wanting to get married for years, and then eventually got engaged, and then like there's obviously been this big wait as well, and we got engaged in March 2019, so it'll be nearly 3 years on we finally get married, but it'll be good. And then we'll probably go on honeymoon somewhere, not sure when. Hopefully I might know by this time next week, because it depends on the American visa situation. Yeah, so aye, lovely to have you again, folks. I'm speaking quiet because I'm aware it's actually after 9 o'clock here. It's like 9:30, and it's Sunday night. Folk have got work in the morning, so being quiet for my neighbours. Yeah, take care. Keep in touch. Send me any messages you have. Let me know if you've been enjoying this series so far. Two things. Now I'm remembering. Next week's tune. You're gonna like this. This has been requested a lot. Next week, we are going to learn the theme tune to Harp at Home, Redford Cottage, which is a track from my album that I've used as a theme tune for Harp at Home. We're going to learn it. It's a great pipe march. Yeah, we're going to give it a go. It's been requested a lot, and I've always kind of brushed it off. I thought, nah, stuff it. Let's go for it. So you're the first people ever to have learnt it from me. That's next week. Do tune in. And yeah, we're going to finish off today, actually. I'm going to keep you hanging on for another few minutes. As I said earlier, I dedicated a track on my album Sparks to Carole and her husband Colin, Carole and Colin. I wrote it for them for their 25th wedding anniversary, which is now over 30 years ago actually. And we recorded it during the pandemic actually in 2020. We got the chance to go into a studio, a film studio that they set up during the pandemic. It was set up by a PA company, kind of joined in with an AV company because everyone was to work from home. We weren't allowed to gig. It was a place where you could go and film gigs, etc. So called Capture Works in the East End of Glasgow, and myself and Ron got a chance to go and film some stuff specifically actually for to be launched to Australia for their Hogmanay in 2020 into 2021, and we got a chance to do some extra tracks. So we recorded this one, Carole and Colin, so hope you enjoy it. You might be able to tell it was so cold when we were recording it. The place didn't have heating because the heating was noisy, and because we were filming audio we had to switch it off, and it was colder outside than it was in it was colder inside than it was outside, and it was like the 6th of December and it was like 4 degrees outside, so we were so cold. I just remember the lighting engineer, who's this guy called Gary Ebby, who is like sought after property. He does a lot of like trad shows with lighting. He's so good at what he does. He was on the job, but I don't actually know what he looks like because he was on the job sitting in front of it, well, sitting away from us with his mask on and a hat on and a big puffer jacket. I only literally saw his eyes like that because he was so cold. And I sent him an email afterwards. I was like, cheers for doing that. I'm so sorry we were so grumpy, but we were so cold. And he was like, man, I don't know how you guys did that, because it was quite hard work, but we got through it and we got this track. So yeah, let's finish off. I'm going to play you out with Carole and Colin by myself and Ron.